Hey y'all, welcome to Sermons on the Side. I'm Brad.
And I'm Richard.
And this is a podcast where we take everyday moments, big or small, and we find the story, the meaning, the sermon tucked inside.
Whether this is your first time or you've been listening all along, we're just glad you're here.
So pull up a chair, hit play on that drive to work, or just hang out with us as we dig into life, faith, and everything in between.
Sermons on the Side, finding meaning in the everyday.
Thank you for what you guys are doing. For real, I'm
Brother.
all caught up on all the episodes, and you guys having this passion to do it, doing it because executing can be a tough thing sometimes, and staying with it, man. You guys keep doing it. You guys are doing awesome, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, Jay has been...
That was $20 well spent, by the way. We paid him to say that, and no, Jay, I appreciate you very much.
He didn't miss a single line in the script.
Memorize, baby.
No, your words are kind, man. Welcome back to another episode of Sermons on the Side.
Yes, sir. Brad, on that side of the table. My name's Richard. I'm on this side
On
of the
the
table.
other side of the table.
Yeah.
And we've got a third table
No,
today.
we don't.
Yeah, just
Are you
look.
serious?
You look to your
Whoa!
right, and
Hey!
I'll look to my left. And
Dude.
we've got a guest. He is laughing. We hope you're
It's gonna
laughing.
be tough.
This is going to be a fun episode. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Bishop.
Our guest.
Nice. Thank you.
Our
Thank you all.
guest.
That was very funny. I was trying my best not to put it into the mic, but that was very funny.
We've been recording for about 15 minutes, and this is the first
Right.
bit of usable content that we've got.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're that good. We're that professional.
Hey, Richard-
Polished we are.
Richard, congratulations, sir.
Congrats on what?
10
Brad?
episodes. Did you think when we started this journey last summer, did you think that we would get to 10 published episodes?
I did not. I didn't
You
know.
didn't?
I didn't know if we'd last. You know what I'm saying?
We almost didn't, even after starting.
Right.
But,
Yeah. No, 10 episodes. This is amazing. So
Yeah.
it's not just another episode of Sermons on the Side. It's a big deal.
That's right.
10.
10 episodes. And, we had talked about how for every round number episode, maybe moving forward, we'd like to have kind of a round table discussion, if you will.
Hey, you know what? I see what you did.
You like that?
With
You
the
like that?
words.
You guys are trying. It's,
We're
We
trying
are,
too hard.
Jay. And so whether it's a guest or bringing several different people on,
Right.
hey, maybe at minimum every 10 episodes, we're going to do this. So, Jay, how does it feel to be the very first one?
it feels great. I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad you guys giving this time to say thank you for what you guys are doing. For real, I'm
Brother.
all caught up on all the episodes, and you guys having this passion to do it, doing it because executing can be a tough thing sometimes, and staying with it, man. You guys keep doing it, and you guys are doing awesome, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, Jay has been.
That was
an
$20
encouragement.
well spent, by the way.
Yeah,
We paid
yeah.
him to say that, and no, Jay, I
He didn't
appreciate
miss
you
a
very
single
much.
line in the script.
Memorize, baby.
No, your words are kind, man. And
Yes.
as Richard and I have shared to several of our friends on Tuesday nights, like, and 100% serious, you have been such an instrumental part of Richard and I kind of even just learning how to do this, of sitting and
Yes.
having a conversation, and in the midst of good, bad, wins, losses, or ties,
That's right.
finding the God story in it. And so this is going to feel
That's right.
very natural, just like
Absolutely.
any other time that the three of us would get together. And
right.
There's going to be lots of laughs and a
That's
couple
right.
of
Yeah.
tears, and hey, God is going to receive all the glory.
Absolutely.
And, that's
Yeah.
our goal.
That is the truth. And earlier, Jay was saying he didn't want to laugh right into the mic. I got to tell you, that's one of the hallmarks or one of the marks of this podcast. I've been called giggly. I'm giggling.
Oh yeah.
On these
Okay.
recordings, on these episodes.
Well, that's been, I've been called worse, so I feel like being called giggly is a win.
Exactly. Hey, there you go. And so let's take it as a positive.
Seeing the positive in everything. I like it. There you go. There you go.
That's why we dig Jay. And there's a lot of reasons why we connect so well with Jay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And over the course of this episode, you're going to get a chance to get to know Jay. All our listeners you're in for a treat. And we're going to be able to share with you some ways that you can connect with some of the content that Jay puts out. So we're excited about that. Right. But just a little bit of the backstory. There are a lot of reasons why we connect and why we thought Jay would be the best first guest. And not the least of which is I think Jay has the best voice of anybody I know in person.
I mean, I'm a little scared, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they hear...
Thank you very much.
As soon as they...
Yes!
Wait,
wow.
We got to do that again without me talking. Do that again. Come on.
Thank you very much.
Oh. See, you know I'm scared? It's because as soon as people hear his voice, I'm like, turn off sermons on the side. Let me go find this cat.
That's it.
Start subscribing to his stuff.
This was my my strength in the Army. I could speak.
Ooh, come on.
I no doubt. I know that to be
right.
true.
Yeah.
But as we were saying, for Brad and I, Jay has been a part of our lives for a couple of years now. Our paths crossed, as it were, and it has been a joy to walk through just this season of your life with you. And so we actually became friends and met you through a mutual friend who attends a really cool church here in Columbus, and it's called Church on the Trail.
Church on the Trail.
It's awesome.
Right.
So if you're in the Columbus area, you got to check out Church on the Trail. If you're not in the Columbus area, look them up because they stream their Sunday services, and they've got some really good content. Now, the pastor of that church, Ed Griffin Hagen, just amazing leader, amazing teacher, one of the best kept secrets, in my opinion, in the body of Christ in the Columbus area.
Yeah.
Just line for line, probably one of the best teachers I've ever heard. So you got to check you out some Church on the Trail.
That's right.
Come on.
But as I was saying, we have a mutual friend, Lynn Ornstein, one of our listeners.
Come on.
And his son, David, is a great listener, comments frequently.
He does.
David's
Love it.
engaged,
Yeah. Yep.
big Mets fan. They're going down to Port St. Lucie very soon.
Oh, yeah, they did that last year, didn't they?
Catch some spring training games. So shout out to the Ornstein boys that are going to see the Mets. But anyway, so Lynn introduced you to us.
That's right. Yeah.
And so what I would like to do is to sort of just get the backstory, if you don't mind sharing with our listeners, how it was that you came into that church community, because thankfully for us, that's how we ended up meeting you.
That's right.
Was because God sent you into that church.
Yes.
So we would just love to hear that story, if you don't mind telling us.
Yeah. You guys got a minute?
Come on. Come on.
We got a few.
Yeah. So it's a story. Got to turn the wheels back a little bit, but it's a story that starts kind of in the shadows. I was probably 13 years in the Army, and I was just living in sin, I think is the best way I can explain it. Just living in sin, eyes closed, just spinning around in darkness. And that's just where my life was. And it reached a point where I felt like I was just gone with everything. Everything was going to be ripped away from me. I ended up getting some medical issues. I had 2, 4, 6 blood clots. And that really stopped my Army career. And at that time, I didn't notice it, but at that time, God was using that as a way to slow me down because I was head charging. I got to get promoted first. I got to deploy. I got to, do everything I can. I got to go to Ranger School. I got to do all these things to make my Army career important and significant. But I wasn't paying attention to my family, and my family was, if you can kind of imagine, you running and someone's holding on to a rope, and after everywhere you turn left and right, they are eventually getting spun and hit into every wall of the turns that you're making.
Oh yeah.
And that was my family. And
Wow.
I was just living very selfishly. Right. So long story short, I'm living in sin. I'm living selfishly. And I reached a point where, it was, you guys heard the saying of this person's 1 foot out the door. Well, it was, my family was in the car with the car started. I was on the brink of losing my family.
Wow.
And I made a decision to just get up and go to church. There was nothing else I had.
All right, time out. So was that building, let's say, on what, like the week before, days before, several weeks, or was that like an on the fly, like Sunday morning kind of thing? I can't remember how that played.
I think, if I'm being honest, I think I was thinking about it maybe the night before, and then I got up and I was like, I'm going to church, and it's funny how I got to church on the trail, because when I first moved to Columbus, we hired a gentleman to come clear some trees out from our backyard, and he gave me a card, and he was like, hey, I'm a pastor at this church. And at that time, I was like, okay, great, thanks. I took that card and put it in my drawer somewhere, never to be found again.
It was church on the trail?
It was not church on the trail, but I thought, as the time came for me to go to church, I thought, okay, I got to find that card, and I couldn't find it, and I'm like, was it trail? Was it road or something? So I hit Google, and I'm like, something,
I did not know
church
this.
trail, something church trail, and what came up was church on the trail, and I was like, got it, that's the one. And I got in the car.
Was it?
It wasn't the one.
It was not even the one.
So if there's a guy that does trees out there, brother, you are a planter of the seed of the Holy Ghost, man. Come on.
It was not the one. I made it to church, and I got out the car. And the whole time I'm driving, I'm like, I'm not actually going to get out the car and go. I'm not going to make it.
You're torn.
I'm
the whole time.
unworthy. I am.
Oh, wow.
I am. Just covered in muck. It's just, but I get there and my feet kind of hit auto drive, and I'm get out the car and I'm walking, and in my head I'm like, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. And right when I kind of gained control of my body, a gentleman in guest services was like, hey, come on in. He puts his arm around me and ushers me to the front door. And there, this sweet couple, they wrap their arms around me and they say, we're so happy to have you here. And at that moment, I just broke down in tears. It was just,
Jay.
it was, I've come to understand that in that moment, I was looking at Jesus' love. It was love being displayed. It was people acting like Christians. It was people put their arms around me. It was love. And in that moment, that's when Lynn Ornstein, that's when he came and ushered me to the sanctuary, and he sat me down. And I'll never forget these words he said. He said, so that you don't feel alone, my wife sits here, I sit here, and you can sit here. And it was unbelievable. So that was my welcome to church on the trail.
Golly, dude.
That was my welcome to church
What
on the trail.
an unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't even, that blows me away. I mean, you're telling me that story. I felt like I was right there and just feeling that. I can't imagine what that was like. Hey, was it at that point that you and Lynn had an extended conversation? And I think from your conversation that day or shortly after, he had the idea of maybe introducing you to our community where Brad and I are a part of.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was that after service, he kind of took me to the back to get some one-on-one time. And he just said, hey, look, do you want to meet again? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I have no one right now. Absolutely. And he was just right there for me. And eventually he said, I meet these friends of mine on Tuesdays and would love for you to come. And I remember showing up Tuesday and I was like, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be at? And everyone was like, yeah, come on in.
Man, I'll never forget that first night. I remember talking with Richard afterwards, and it's so incredible how sometimes when your paths cross with someone, you just know that there's some kindred spirit there. And,
and it doesn't always take long for you to
sometimes
get that,
it's
right?
immediate. And man, I can't exactly recall because my memory's terrible too, but I don't feel like it was too many Tuesdays past that you and I had our first Waffle House encounter.
That's right. Yeah,
And,
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's so awesome. I remember telling Richard that night, I was like, "Dog, we got a 5-star recruit right here. We gotta, you know what I'm saying, dog?"
But I tell you, Jay, thank you for sharing that, because I mean, it really does sound like a, dark pit kind of moment
For sure.
in your life. And, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when I hear that story, my respect for you just continues to grow. But when I hear that story and I hear about the thought that you had, maybe a little bit the night before, but then big time that Sunday morning, and then somehow you did get out of the car and are walking towards the door, and then the love of Christ, starts pulling you in. I guess my point is that although I love you and respect you for sharing that story with us and all our listeners, that all the amazing parts of that story don't ultimately make me think, wow, Jay is such a cool guy. Although you are.
I hear you. Yep.
What it makes me think is, how big God is.
That's
right?
right.
Come on.
I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just how big God is.
That's right.
And how he can, he just meets us in that dark pit.
Yes. What reminds, whenever I tell my testimony, what it comes back to my mind is seek God with all your heart, with all your heart, and you'll find him. And when I saw God in that moment, he was there, and he was there. And in a very short time, I was saved, my wife was saved, my marriage was saved, my family was saved, my kids one would dare say they're saved. And my whole household, 10 of us, you guys come to Church on the Trail one day, look at the front row on the right side.
Church on the Trail, dog. We got 10
right
people?
on the right side. My whole family comes, 10, 11 strong. So God does amazing
Praise
things.
God, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I think one of the
miraculous
things
stuff.
that just moves us so much is just knowing the intimate details of that journey that you just, very briefly but very beautifully just shared with us. Ever since that first time, that first encounter with the Lord that Sunday morning, I wouldn't say that you would describe yourself as batting 1,000.
Yeah, that's right.
But dadgummit, man, the Lord has done a miraculous work in your life.
No
And,
doubt.
it is truly an honor to just see it and to witness it and to be such a small cheerleader in it. So, man, I'm just thank you. Thank you for inviting us into this story.
Yeah.
For sure. And you guys know, and listeners, these guys have been here with me through many of those steps and throughout that journey, helping me and being there for me to lean on and encourage me. So, guys, I couldn't be here right now without you guys. So, it's a community, baby.
Ain't nothing an all-star special at Waffle House can't fix, brother.
That's true. There's a special anointing on that.
And if you want to do healthy, go chicken and waffles. That's
about as close to healthy as you're gonna get it. At the Waffle
Guys, I'm a bodybuilding coach, and I got to stop you guys.
The grilled chicken at Waffle House is a slept-on secret, dude. You get a piece of grilled chicken and a couple of eggs on the side. Come on, Coach.
See?
What do you think?
That's fine. What's it cooked in? And what about the waffles?
You gotta have a waffle,
He's
Coach.
not lying. He's not lying.
Gotta have a waffle.
But I will say that Brad was just talking about the miracles, and when you see God do some super unexpected or some I wouldn't have believed it kind of things over time, it is never about that the trajectory was always up and that it was all sunshine and roses and that there were no setbacks or ups and downs.
Right.
It is just the fact that God is not afraid of any of the craziness
That's right.
and any of the brokenness. And through the wins and losses and ties, the
That's
way you
right.
said it earlier, Brad, if we just keep trying to just move forward, then God does miracles. And one of the cool miracles included, Brad, won't you do the reveal?
Well,
about this guy here.
I was just thinking about how you just quoted Jeremiah 29. Like, if you seek me with your whole heart, you will seek me and find me if you seek me with your whole heart,
Your whole
right?
heart, yeah.
And how even just all over Jeremiah 29, there's examples, but all throughout Scripture of how the Lord uses people or situations that nobody would have thought that that's how that story would have played out. But I think we said this a couple episodes ago. If we entrust our story with the greatest storyteller, then there are great stories to be told.
Yes, sir.
And the story that the Lord is writing in your life, Jay, I don't think you would have dreamed would have ever been a reality 2 years ago, 2 months ago. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to an associate pastor of Church on the Trail.
Yes!
Cool! So
come on.
I don't know how this turned into a Church on the Trail commercial, but
It just is.
you've got to check this man out. I mean, dude, the Lord, and it's all God. It's
That's
all
right.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
But how evident is it that God does not call the equipped? He equips the called.
That's it.
And that's who you are, my brother.
Yeah.
And you are such a
Yeah.
living testimony to all of us. But man, I'm
Hey, and for the record, when you check out Church on Trail, either YouTube or Facebook stuff, you know, the videos or the videos of the Sunday live streams are on there. Jay has actually brought the Sunday sermon a couple of times over
now.
the last 4 months, I'd say.
Yeah, a couple of times.
So look that up. Good stuff. But Jay, thank you again for that.
Man, I was going to say, hey, quickly, Jay, tell us a little bit more about your leadership ministry that you're also doing. I know that you've launched a Facebook group and a community group, Shepherd's Way Leadership.
That's right.
If we've got listeners that really want to connect with you further, what do they need to know about that, and how can they get in contact with you?
So you guys can get in contact with me through Facebook. It's Shepherd's Way Leadership. It's a Facebook page. And then also, if you guys want to engage in leadership discussions, biblically or whatever you have, it's also Shepherd's Way Leadership Community. And that's a group, two separate things. But love to have any of you guys and chime in. Shepherd's Way Leadership came about because I'm a big believer in leadership can be the single point of success or failure. And if you're not grounded in leadership, if you're not grounded in faith first, no matter how much leadership you got, you're going to fail. So get grounded in faith and then take the reins of leadership. And one of the things that I kind of coined is this optional obligation of leadership. And what that is leadership is a choice. We talk about leaders being born and leaders being, built, made. But leadership is a choice. You can choose not to be a leader, and that's fine. But once you say yes to being a leader, you owe every bit of yourself to the people you're responsible for. So it's an optional obligation. And with that comes kind of the essence, not the essence, but one of the pillars that Shepherd's Way Leadership exists for is it's leadership, personal development. One of the things is the leader's oath. So I willingly accept the responsibility to care for, lead, and develop my team to become the best versions of themselves personally and professionally. And it's a grounding personal leadership statement. So that's really Shepherd's Way Leadership.
Could we cycle back? Let's run that back.
Okay.
Could you say
Yes.
that statement again? That's packed. That is a loaded statement. Do you mind?
Yes, it's the leader's oath, and it's I willingly accept the responsibility to care for, lead, and develop my team to become the best versions of themselves, personally and professionally.
Gosh, that's good.
Yeah.
That is good. And this leadership thing. I mean, when would you say this sparked in your heart? Now, I know in your story, as you shared before, there's a lot of spiritual darkness, and your journey took a lot of different turns.
Yep.
But what you're sharing with us and what has begun with Shepherd's Way doesn't happen overnight. So this is something that's poured into the DNA of you.
Yes.
You know. So, but how long ago do you think? When did you recognize that?
I knew very early on in childhood that I didn't know God at the point, but I would say the world seemed to keep putting me in leadership positions. Youth football, all the way up into the Army. I was holding a leadership position in the Army after 6 months. I was a private doing the job of a sergeant. And it's just kind of kept continuing that way. And then probably about year 10 in the Army, I knew I wanted to do something with leadership. I always envisioned myself as a lifer in the Army, so I didn't expect to get out early. Yeah. But knowing that as God kind of took the wheel and knew what he was doing with me, it was just like, okay, now's the time. Now is the time. Yeah. And it's so important that it's not just the leadership that I thought I was doing with business and education. It's leadership based on biblical principles.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
The power of someone who's passionate about leadership, obviously called and by God to be a leader, but that passion mixed with the humility that we know of your story and the willingness to do the hard things, you know, in your family life and in your life with God and your faith walk. But it's just a powerful combination. Yeah. So I'm pumped about what God has in store for you in your role, in your pastoral role, and with Shepherd's Way leadership. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah.
Brad, who gets a first guest?
I mean, dude,
like
this
this,
is incredible.
Right?
Yeah, it's incredible. And if you are enjoying it half as much as I am, then head on down to the description of the show notes, and we'll have a couple of links there that'll redirect you to Shepherd's Way Facebook page and the community group to get connected with Jay. Jay, thank you so much, man. You have blessed us, and you have blessed our listeners. And in return, Richard's going to make you the poignant focus of the segment for this episode.
Okay.
So, Richard, I think some instructions are probably needed for the next couple of minutes.
Do we have time for this segment?
Oh,
are we going to make time for it?
Oh,
okay, good. Look, you know, we usually do these cutesy segments. Funny, humorous.
I'm going to fail this.
Whatever.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I get roasted.
What we've decided, what we've decided is that when we have guests, we're going to end the episode by firing some questions at them. And no, we don't let you know in advance because he's got this look on his face like, why didn't you tell me
that moment
that we were doing this?
Yes.
And so that's the way it's going to go. It's just going to be, we're going to call it no huddle, where I'm going to just ask you a question. You're going to do your best to just fire off the answer. Some of the answers will be short, one-word answers. Some might be longer, whatever. But we think this will be a cool way to do our guest episodes. Now,
well, you kind of spoiled this for the upcoming people. So.
Well, I'm just saying, if this bombs, it's Jay's fault.
Yeah.
No pressure.
All right, let's do it.
So wrong.
Here we go.
Okay, Jay, what's the worst job you ever held? Just the gnarliest kind of job you ever had to do?
Splish Splash. It was a water park in Riverhead, New York, and I was the park services guy walking around picking up trash in 90-degree heat.
Ouch.
With
okay.
park filled. Thinking I was cool, trying to, it was bad. It was really bad.
I hear you.
Love it.
And you got to look it up because the shirts were the worst part. It was
Splish Splash shirts.
Wouldn't it be good if we could somehow
say that 3 times, and we're going to have to make this an explicit episode. I'm going to have to click the E button on the episode. I'm going to be like, what is going on with episode 10?
It's a water park. Yeah.
Oh man, I hear you. Hey, second question is about Bible characters. So you can't use our Lord Jesus Christ himself, but what is a Bible character that just really resonates or connects with you? Maybe you could just even call it your favorite.
I don't know if he's my favorite, but Peter. Peter connects a lot with me.
Yeah.
Because he's got a rough edge to him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just resonates with me. I'm a rough guy, so it just his attitude, in a sense, I can connect with.
Oh, good
Love
stuff.
it. It's a good answer.
Love that. Okay, cat person or dog person? Jay,
Dog person.
That is the correct answer, by
Well,
the way.
we can confirm he's a Christian. Keep
All
going.
right. All right. Now, this question is obnoxious, and so I'm not going to ask it your favorite. But let's say for right now in this season of your life, is there a particular Bible verse that is like really resonating with you? What would that be?
I'm going to misquote it now because I'm on the spot.
Yeah.
But
Oh, whose fault is that? Oh, wait, it's mine. I'm sorry. We'll edit that
I
out.
thought you were going after him. Hide God's word in my heart, brother. You better be ready in season and out of season.
Listen, man, I'm getting a little full of myself here. 10 episodes, getting a little aggressive with the guests.
no, it's Psalm 51:17, and it's the only things required for God are a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart.
Oh, yeah.
It's can't say my favorite, but it's might just be.
I know. I hear
I
you.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, we're Psalm 51 kind of people.
Mm.
You know, in our community and our recovery journeys, Psalm 51 hits in a way that it never did before I got honest about my problems.
Yeah.
And that in particular is awesome. Awesome stuff. Okay, if you could, now we're going kind of comic book or comic book movies.
All right.
If you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Ooh,
Invisibility.
Invisibility. Yeah.
now that's pretty interesting.
Now, see, a lot of people would think super strength. You already have that. Can fly. You know, flying would be a big one. Invisibility. Okay.
I like it.
I respect it.
No, yeah, you have to. Good stuff,
I
man.
wonder why. That popped in my head. I don't know.
Who knows? All right, so the final question.
Oh, I thought that was
And-
it.
No, you got one more.
You got to get warned. This is the final question.
You got one more. And this is kind of a weird hypothetical because, and it's about your children. All right. So I'm talking about your kids, your stepkids. You guys are blended family.
And grandchildren.
And grandkids. Okay. So,
Which one is your favorite? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, what happened? Sorry, what? Was that not the question?
No, it is not.
Sorry about
Golly.
that. Sorry
now,
about
now who's the bad guy? Now who's the bad host?
Just
All right, so this is it. And if you could imagine a scenario where someone was interviewing one or more, or maybe even all of those kids and grandkids. And so, but it's a general question for any of your kids.
Okay.
If they were being interviewed and somebody said, "Tell me about your dad. Tell me about Jay." What would you hope would be something that they would say to answer that question?
That's a great question. I think I would just want them to say, but to say and in truth, and to know it and believe it, that Dad is respectable, that he is a Christian, and that he loves his family. And I think that kind of would do it justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
so good, dude.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for indulging us in that little
Those were great
exercise.
questions, Richard. That was awesome. That was awesome. Man,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here, Jay. What an awesome episode. Holy cow.
Golly.
I don't know how the next guest is supposed to top that,
It's
but
gonna be
good
tough
luck.
for whoever episode 20
We're going to
is.
bring you in just to watch them, just to have added pressure.
folded arms in the corner.
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share my testimony. You know, another thing that is, it's important for me to share my testimony because I know there's someone else like me out there who needs to hear my testimony because it resonates with them. So
Amen.
I used to shy away from sharing it, and I don't these days because I know someone can use it.
Oh, what a great corner to turn in that decision. What's the reading that we say on our Tuesday night meetings? It says, no matter how far down the scale we have gone,
Yep.
we will see how our experiences can benefit others.
That's right.
And when God gets a hold of that, boy, there's just no telling.
Amen.
But thank you again for your heart, your support, your friendship, your awesome voice, the great story, and for just doing this with us.
Yes, sir.
Folks, we will see you here again next Thursday on another episode of Sermons on the Side. Thanks so much.
Come on, Jay. You're awesome.
Dude, you killed it!
Bro.
Holy cow, bro.
I can't tell you, man.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Your heart just came through.
I hope so.
There's a couple of really sweet moments in there. Seriously. I totally forgot. I think I remember that about the business card.
Business card? Yeah.
I don't.
It was.
Didn't
I
remember
finally.
that part of the
I
story.
finally found out who it was.
Oh, no way.
Did
I
you?
did. I
Who
found
is
out
it?
Who it was. I got
Or
his
what
name
church
wrong.
is it?
David Ratham.
Rayful.
David Rathel?
Yes.
E.L.
David
Rayful.
Rathel. Yes.
With Schomburg?
Yeah. Yeah. He's
that's,
he was the
No,
guy.
no,
who
no,
came-
not Schomburg.
Rivertown.
Rivertown.
On Schaumburg?
On
think it
Schomburg,
is.
yes,
That's
it
it.
is. Yeah, yeah. Schomburg's a different church.
Yeah.
but
David Rathel. He was the guy who came to cut trees down.
He's such a great man.
No, he is. He is. I met him when I first moved to Columbus. And gosh. But Jay, thank you, man. This is
Absolutely.
So much, is this not fun?
I mean, we could have did that for hours.